Much to the horror and dismay of people on Twitter, the squirrel situation is getting worse. Yes, it appears that right wingers actually care about cute animals. Spoiler alert, it's not really about the squirrel, which is why this is actually separated based on political lines. If you go on Twitter right now and you go hashtag MAGA squirrel, you will see that the leftists are seething and they're trying to agitate the right wingers even more, saying that this is what the government is there for, this is what the founding fathers visioned for America. And then you will see like right wingers saying justice for Peanut. So I definitely believe that if this would have happened in Florida under the Trump administration, you would see a lot of leftists being appalled. It's like, how could this happen? Why is this happening to us? Why do we have to live under the yoke of Republican oppression? Because at the end of the day, the squirrel isn't what's important. It's the politics behind it. The idea that a lady, which was upset, this is true story, by the way, this is true story. A lady is upset that the squirrel is getting more Instagram followers than her, so she starts contacting the government. She goes to snitch like a leftist, and gets the squirrel executed, puts a hit on the squirrel. That is why right-wingers are upset. Like, you have a person that's minding their own business and is just finding happiness. They're finding the joy that the Democrats talk about. But see, they like to have a monopoly on the joy. Like, you're not supposed to find joy in anything else unless it's provided by them. So she basically, not minding her own fucking business, sends the government to this guy's house because, of course, she from Texas is worried about the diseases and the pestilence that one squirrel could bring. Like, how could she live in Texas knowing that this person is violating the health safety, right? This is the mentality. Like, you have an individual that is being a subversive cheeky little shit. Like, they're using something that is meant to keep health in order to improve their own fucking life on Instagram. That's what it is. It was the numbers on Instagram or social media. She wanted more, so now she is using, like, how can I live in America where a squirrel is being kept as a pet? Imagine the bodies stocking up in the hospital because they're vermin, right? Like, we can't allow. How can we allow? So now I got like all the useful idiots like thinking this is about health and safety. Like, fuck off. You know what I dislike about these people? Like, if it was up to me, I would put all of them, every single one of them, into a maximum security prison so they can benefit from the safety that they so crave. Like, in a maximum security prison, you get free healthcare, you get free food, you get free clothing, and you're usually alone in your room. So you get like the maximum safety that you covet, but stop coveting for me. Stop coveting for everyone else. Just get it for yourself, because you just don't want to live life like a normal person. I want to live life dangerously. I want to live with the horrors knowing that my neighbor has a squirrel in his house. Like, that's the type of life that I want to live in. And then it's also the compassion and empathy, right? Like, if you're the little twat that goes around and says, you know what, my neighbor, I'm fine if the government comes in, storms his house, terrorizes his family, and kills his squirrel. I'm fine with that because I don't care about squirrels, right? But maybe you care about kittens. So if you care about kittens, why should your neighbor then give a fuck? Like, why shouldn't your neighbor then want the government to come into your house? You know, we have this saying in Romania, I hope the neighbor's goat dies as well. Maybe it's a mindset that America should start applying more often, because that's how you end up with not having moral busybodies. It's like, okay, if I suffer because you made me suffer, that's okay. Let's see what you care about. Like, surely there must be something that you are passionate about, and I will take it away from you. Not because I care, not because I think it makes the world a better place, but it would make me feel good. It would make me feel good because you made me feel bad when you took away my thing. So now it's just my turn to take away your thing. And when everyone starts thinking like that, when this becomes the morality of the nation, you will see how quickly people stop trying to take other people's things away from them. Because they will be like, okay, well, I don't care about this, but if I take away cigarettes, they're going to take away my alcohol. You know, like, when you have this mindset, society becomes a much better place to live in. But going back to this, the reason people are very vocal about it is not because of the squirrel. As I mentioned before, is the snitching, is the cancel culture, this this virtual fuckery where, oh, look how virtuous I am. I care about safety. You know, I care about sanitation. When in reality, she cares about her Instagram. The government overreach. They sent, I think it was like 4 or 5 cars to this guy's house. Couldn't they just like send him like a request so that he can show up to the police station and discuss the issue with him? Like, obviously the guy was a famous streamer. People knew who he was. Like, it wasn't like he was going to run away or hide or anything, right? It wasn't like he was going to go on the lam. Couldn't they just like negotiate it and so what the fuck is going on? Because like he was not raising 1 million squirrels. Like, we're talking about one pet. Like, come on. The second thing is the law itself. Like, people understand why the law is there, but they're disagreeing with it. Can you imagine that? Like, there are people that want to live in chaos. They want anarchy. They want so that the government can't break into your house and kill your pet. Even though the pet is dangerous and is bringing pestilence and disease and the bodies are stacking in the nearby hospital because, you know, like that pet is like a lab in Shanghai or something. No, yeah, we know. Yeah, most people just don't want to live like that, though. They want to take risks. And then it's also the fact, like, how much money is invested in this? Like, how much were people paid to assassinate Peanut? And then finally it's the optics. Yeah, okay, like, the squirrel is cute. But you have, like, people that don't get it. It's like, oh, well, rednecks eat stew made out of squirrels all the time. Why do they care about this particular one? Because it was the man's pet. I don't understand. It's like, okay, rats, they're vermin, right? But if someone has a pet rat in their house, does that mean it's okay for the government to break his door, terrorize his family, turn his house upside down, kill his rat? Like, is it right? Is this normal? Is that it's progressive, isn't it? Oh, forward-thinking society. I see. And talking from a medical standpoint, the guy had the squirrel for 7 years. Like, if you have a pet in your house and it doesn't go out, the chance of it getting sick is very low. Probably the same like a dog. And apparently it didn't even have the rabies. So come on. You know, cut the shit. We live in a world where apparently talking about assisted suicide is allowed, but talking about keeping a squirrel as a pet, no. I see. The way it gets to this point is that at some level the government may have thought, you know, it's not okay for people to keep chimps as a pet. It's not okay for people to keep tigers as a pet. You know, these are like common sense regulations because you're endangering the entire neighborhood, right? Like, if a tiger gets loose, even if the squirrel has rabies, it will not cause as much damage as a tiger that's loose, right? So, like, okay, they're doing this common sense. So you have, like, this government agency that's going to crack down on people that break the law. Like, if you try to keep a bear as a pet or a tiger as a pet, they're going to crack down. But what the government does is that when you have an agency, they're not just satisfied with doing their job. Because if they do their job properly, what can happen is that the requirement for the agency to exist stops being there. And then you can dismantle the agency or downsize it. Like, you don't want to be too good at your job. So what they're doing is that they're showing the problem is actually much greater than anticipated, right? So, like, when you go into someone's house and you break his door and you kill his pet and shit, that's a statistic now. That's a report. That's a governmental report. And you're writing, and obviously they're going to say, oh, well, he was keeping dangerous animals and blah, 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 and the possibility for an outbreak, really huge, and, right? So now they're going to ask more funding. Now they're going to ask for more legislation to help them. They're going to ask for more resources. That's how it works. That's what the government does. And it constantly expands like a tumor. Until some shit like this happens that is so bad optics that people go like, but why does the government expand so much? Like, is there a limit? Should there be a limit? Can we have a conversation? I mean, elections are coming. Can we vote on it? This is why it's political. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.